Hello and welcome. You're watching FYI. I'm Rishika Barua. There's an endless debate on whether or not pregnant women should be getting the COVID-19 vaccine. The ICMR in India has not allowed it. But now in Mumbai, the BMC is all set to start walk-in vaccinations for pregnant women and lactating mothers. This has given hope, but it's also raised many questions on our vaccine policy. Today on FYI, we'll bring you the facts, the different sides of this story. Let's first look at which countries in the world have begun vaccinating pregnant women. In the United States of America, 90,000 pregnant women have been vaccinated with either the Pfizer or the Moderna vaccine. In the UK, the Vaccine Advisory Group has now permitted vaccination for pregnant women, but once again with either the Pfizer or the Moderna vaccine. In Brazil, some states have suspended the use of AstraZeneca vaccine in pregnant women due to one death being reported. In Israel, pregnant women are being vaccinated with the Pfizer vaccine, and antibodies in 20 women and newborns after birth have also been discovered after they were given both doses of the Pfizer vaccine. So where does India stand? Well, the Federation of Obstetricians and Gynecologists Society of India, which is called FOGSI, which is one of the bodies that brings together the experts from around the country. FOGSI has recommended that pregnant women and breastfeeding mothers should be vaccinated. They have, however, acknowledged that there is not enough data on this that is available. But what do different studies around the world have to say about this? The New England Journal of Medicine says that a safety study conducted in 35,000 pregnant women has shown that there was no increased risk during pregnancy or birth complication with the Pfizer or the Moderna vaccine. The million-dollar question, and we'll try and answer why India doesn't have a vaccine for pregnant women just yet. Why are we not vaccinating this vulnerable population? But we'll also try and look at when India can actually begin vaccinating this section, because there's a lot of people who've sent us a lot of questions on this. Joining us on the broadcast, panel of expert doctors, Dr. Lavleena Nadir, Senior Consultant Gynecologist, Fortis La Femme Hospital, Dr. Alpesh Gandhi, the President of FOGSI, Priyanka Chaturvedi, Rajya Sabha MP and leader of the Shiv Sena. She's been very vehemently batting to go ahead and vaccinate pregnant women in India. We have Priyali Soor, who's an independent journalist. She's an expectant mother who's recovered from COVID and is running a petition currently on change.org. And we have Dr. Vikram Talukar. He is an associate specialist in reproductive medicine, UCLH. He's joining us from London. Thank you all very much for being with us. Priyanka Chaturvedi, I want to begin by asking you, because you tweeted a few days ago to say that the BMC has taken your suggestion very seriously of vaccinating pregnant women, and walk-in vaccinations will now begin in Mumbai for pregnant women and lactating mothers. That's not the policy in the country just yet.
It is not a policy in the country. As far as lactating mothers is concerned, ICMR did give its nod.
Has allowed, yes.
For lactating mothers. So we decided that we will roll that out with the walk-in as well as drive-in facility for women who may be below 45 years of age, but lactating mothers should be allowed a vaccination. However, we still do not have a clear approval coming from ICMR for pregnant women. It is just like a door-to-door campaign that we wanted to do with vaccination, which has been put on hold. Again, this has been, we are still waiting for approvals coming from ICMR to, frame the entire guidelines for vaccination. We are totally ready. We will follow the UK guidelines as far as guidelines are concerned, which mentions all the do's and don'ts. My argument is not just about vaccinating. My argument is also about the fact that why should any woman be kept out of the ambit because of her biological process of being pregnant? It is a choice that is given to the woman. It is something that is coming under the purview of her doctor, the doctor she is consulting. And if she chooses to get a vaccine, how can the state stop her from getting that option? So that is where I come from, that every person should be in the ambit of vaccination. And as far as the do's and don'ts are concerned, we must understand this vaccination is not a compulsory drive. It is not a compulsion. So let the woman make that choice. Considering how, I would say, dangerous it has turned out to be for pregnant women in the second wave. So this is where we stand. We are still awaiting, the BMC Commissioner has written to Secretary Health for his final approval. But we are all set to roll this out as far as vaccinating pregnant mothers are concerned.
All right. So why should women not be given the choice? I think that's an important question that you raised. Let me take this to Dr. Lavleena Nadir. Dr. Nadir, you know, we've had multiple conversations here on NDTV with you where you've answered questions on, you know, COVID-19 in pregnant women, complications. We've seen the second wave has hit pregnant women hard. Why does India not have a vaccine for pregnant women just yet? Explain this to us.
Okay, so the thing is that at any given point of time, there are 27 million births happening in India. So if we are to give 2 doses of vaccine, so India should be ready with 60 million doses, which is like a huge commitment from the government right now. So I think probably the shortage of vaccine is one thing, because all our federations, we are recommending it. They are said to be safe. So I think it is just the sheer numbers which we don't have right now, and that is why it's not being rolled, I think.
Right, but Dr. Nadir, once again, you know, I'll bring you in on the point of the risks versus the benefits, because that really is what viewers want to know. Which vaccine is safe? Because so far we've seen 90,000 pregnant women in the US being vaccinated. The UK vaccine advisory body has said go ahead and vaccinate pregnant women, but only with the Pfizer or the Moderna vaccine, none of which are still available in India. So what is the risk versus benefit of vaccinating women with the existing vaccines that we have?
Absolutely. So the thing is that, you know, Moderna and Pfizer have already done the trials and no side effects have been seen. So no known risk has come up with the vaccination. But, you know, in AstraZeneca vaccine, 20 million doses were given and they were non-pregnant, and only 79, you know, had few, we heard cases of blood clots. So there is a very rare risk of thrombosis or, you know, thrombocytopenia syndrome, but actually it's a very, very rare risk. On the other hand, the benefits weigh much more, because if we give the vaccination to pregnant women, we decrease the severity of the disease, we decrease the risk of preterm births, and of course, we risk the transmission to other members of the household or in the workplace.
Right.
So definitely the benefits outweigh the risk right now, because we don't have much data on the risk.
Okay.
It is exactly
important.
Not known.
The benefits prima facie outweigh the risk, but also important to put out you know, on the broadcast that we don't have enough data to actually talk about the risk. Let me, I know Priyanka Chaturvedi, you wanted to come in, but we have with us Dr. Alpesh Gandhi, and I want to go to him. He is the president of FOGSI, and FOGSI has recommended, Dr. Gandhi, that pregnant women should be vaccinated.
Yeah, very good evening. Yes, FOGSI has recommended that pregnant women and lactating women both should be vaccinated.
Right.
And we have I am fully agree with the previous both the speakers. If we compare both the things, actual benefits versus actual risk, then definitely, though we do not have study, we believe that it should be offered to all the pregnant women. Of course, it is her choice, but it should be offered.
Should it be on a case-by-case basis, Dr. Gandhi?
Not case by case. I think if we look at the data available across the world, then CDC America, the analysis did not reveal any safety concern for pregnant people and for their babies. So when they were vaccinated, and there is a good number of data available with CDC, there are mainly 2 concerns. One is about the teratogenicity, and another is about the thromboembolic phenomena.
Right.
During pregnancy, we cannot give live attenuated vaccine, but none of the vaccine available, COVID vaccine available across world is live attenuated. In India also, both the vaccine, one is adenovirus vector vaccine and another is killed vaccine, which will not replicate, will not cause disease, will not reach to fetus, and it is a theoretical risk rather than actual risk. So we should give. I would like to add one more thing is, in this second wave, the infectivity is more, severity is more number of pregnant women compared to first wave require admission in NICU, intrauterine fetal death is more, premature delivery is more, maternal mortality is 4 to 5 times increase.
Yes.
So in this situation, I think this is the best protective measure we have, and we should offer it. Of course, we should do counseling, we should do inform, we should
very important. Yes.
Factors with
let me just, you know, Priyali is also with us, and before I go to Priyali to sort of talk about her experience of being pregnant in this time and what she went through. I want to get in a perspective from Dr. Vikram. Very important, Dr. Vikram, for you to be with us on the broadcast today, because you'll help us understand what's happening in the UK. Now, the advisory body in the UK has said that pregnant women, lactating mothers can be vaccinated, but only with the Pfizer or the Moderna vaccine. So the AstraZeneca vaccine is not being recommended to this subset.
Thanks for having me. Well, it's not that it's only the Moderna only for vaccination. What it practices that where women.
All right, so, Dr. Vikram, I'm going to interrupt you there. We have an audio problem with you. We'll fix that audio and come back to you in just a moment. Let me, in the meanwhile, introduce Priyali on the broadcast. Priyali, thanks for being with us. You're an expectant mother, and you have a petition on change.org. You're pleading with the government essentially to vaccinate pregnant women in India. What did you go through?
Thanks, Rishika, for having me. I cannot speak from the medical point of view, but of course I can speak from the point of view of being pregnant,
yes,
of being a journalist who looks at this issue. What I'm asking through the change.org petition is very clearly that it should not be compulsory for every pregnant woman to get vaccinated, but at least open up the vaccinations to us. Don't undermine our choice or our intelligence as expectant mothers to choose whether we want to be vaccinated or to choose whether this is safe for
yes,
us. Make that option available to us. And I think a lot of people out there agree with me, because the kind of support we've gathered through the petition, we've had almost 35,000 people coming out and signing that petition, and a lot of them are pregnant women themselves. A lot of them commenting on the post saying that I'm pregnant, I feel unsafe and insecure about myself, my health, and my baby's health.
Are you concerned, Priyali, about the risks associated with the COVID-19 vaccine because you're pregnant?
So my research as a journalist when I was writing this report showed, according to international studies, that the risk of complications from getting COVID-19 is far higher in pregnant women than the risk of complications from the vaccines.
Right.
And especially if you're in third trimester, the risk of mortality is that much higher. And most of the pregnant women who I interviewed during my report were women who were in their third trimester, who had either had preterm babies or who had lost their life and who had also lost their unborn child. Like, I spoke to their families. So I would like to weigh it from the point of view of, am I more at risk if I get the vaccine, or am I more at risk if I contract COVID?
But you contracted COVID as well.
I did get COVID, and fortunately, unlike the many other people who I interviewed, the women I interviewed, it was not a really bad case for me. I was still in my second trimester then, but in my third trimester, when I go for my prenatal appointments in hospitals where COVID patients are being wheeled in, I still feel unsafe. I feel that there's a possibility of me getting exposed, and why should that be a risk that I choose to take? We, in fact, are the only population, pregnant women are the only population above 18 in India who are not permitted to be vaccinated. And we probably are most at risk.
Right.
So this seems very contradictory.
All right. Thanks, Priyali. I think this perspective is very important. I believe we fixed that line with Dr. Vikram. Dr. Vikram, tell us what's happening in the UK. Give us the UK example.
Thanks, Rishika. So in the UK, every woman has a choice now to go ahead and have the vaccine because all of us know that the severity of COVID in pregnancy can be higher. You have lots of risks for the baby and the mother as the pregnancy progresses, which are far higher than having any risk from the vaccine, which is theoretical. So every woman gets a choice to talk with their healthcare professional and go ahead with the vaccine. Initially, all three vaccines were offered as first line, which is the Covishield as well as the Pfizer and Moderna.
Yes.
Since the reports about the blood clots came in, the first choice is offered as Pfizer or Moderna, but where there's no choice or you still have no Pfizer or Moderna available, you can still go ahead and have Covishield, and that should be the case for India, where Covishield and Covaxin choices are available. That's because the risk is so small of any blood clot happening, less than maybe 1 in 100,000 or less.
Yes.
That risk is far, far outweighed by potentially many, many benefits for pregnancy.
Right. Dr. Gandhi, I know you want to come in, but I want to bring in Priyanka Chaturvedi here. You know, Priyanka Chaturvedi, as a lawmaker yourself, you know, do you believe that this is a subset that we have so far ignored? We should have made vaccine, at least the choice available to pregnant women. Why have we not even given them the choice?
Absolutely. Denying them that choice, while I totally agree with the other doctors on the panel, but what Dr. Lavlina said about more vaccine and vaccine shortage being the reason, could be one of the reasons being cited. I'm sorry, you cannot deny women that choice just because they happen to be pregnant and there's a shortage of vaccine.
Right.
You are risking them and you're keeping them away from their feeling of, being safe in an environment which is just so unsafe. And data suggests that women are more at risk, pregnant women are more at risk. My other point of view is, if you remember, when Covaxin was introduced and rolled out in India, there was no third data, data trial support which showed that it can get approvals from WHO. We still don't have an approval from WHO.
Yes.
But India took that leap of faith. So when your benefits outweigh the negatives, I think we should go on the positive side of ensuring that we have a vaccine policy which is inclusive and does not deny any segment of the society the vaccine and something which is their choice.
I think that's an important point. I think that's an important point that both Priyali and you have made about choice. You know, let's put the information out there. The purpose of this show is to put information out there and to ask why a choice has not been given. But Dr. Alpesh Gandhi, I want to bring you in here on a very important aspect of this conversation, which is which vaccine is safer? Because a lot of people have actually written to us with that question. We understand that, you know, pregnancy is an altered state and there are obviously concerns. You want to protect yourself from the infection, but you also want to protect yourself from any possibility of a side effect. So which vaccine should pregnant women be administered in India, given the fact that we don't have Pfizer or Moderna here?
If you look at the report given by, which is the, we can say, highest authority, ANTAGI. ANTAGI has allowed both the vaccine, included both the vaccines for pregnancy as well as for lactating women. Later on, the notification from government included only breastfeeding women, and we are still in hope and that we will soon we will get approval for pregnancy also. So if we look at the highest authority in India, as per ANTAGI, both the vaccines can be given. So there should not be any, this vaccine can be given and this cannot be given.
Right.
Number two is the risk because of Covishield or AstraZeneca is only 0.5 or 0.6 per 1 million thromboembolic phenomena, which is very, very negligible. In UK, it is 5 person per 1 million, whereas in India, it is 0.5 to 0.6. In India, as a thromboembolic phenomena is rare compared to cold countries, and it is more in obesity. Pregnant women who are having obesity, the incidents are more relatively in other pregnant women.
Right.
So basically, if we going to say one vaccine, then in India, there is one more problem is that we do not have both the vaccines available in all the states. In some of the states,
true. In some states, you don't have a choice.
In some of the states, Covishield is available. So in that situation, we cannot put a pregnant woman in dilemma. Both the vaccines are available. Both the vaccines are safe, and they should not think much. Of course, they should know about the risk factor.
But I want to also ask this question, and this is, you know, one of the most commonly asked questions on social media when we put out the teaser for this show this morning. Dr. Lavlina, clinical trials didn't involve pregnant women.
Yes.
We know Pfizer is conducting a trial now. That trial, phase 2, phase 3 of the trial is still underway. But it didn't involve pregnant women, not here in India, and you know, to the best of my knowledge, nowhere else in the world when the vaccines were tried at first. So is it safe?
Yeah. So see, that is why, you know, it hasn't still, the approval hasn't come, because initially the whole segment of pregnant women were left out and no trials were done. But we also have to understand that these are not live attenuated vaccines. So, you know, we have been using flu vaccine and we have been using whooping cough vaccines. And so this vaccine also is going to work the same way. And that is why we are saying, and our federations are saying, that it has to be recommended for both pregnant and lactating women. So that it is the same method that it is being used. There's no live virus in this. So it is safe.
Dr. Vikram, similar concerns about the lack of data, not enough clinical trials being done to study the potential risks associated with COVID-19 vaccines in pregnant women? Dr. Vikram?
Well, I would agree with all the other panelists. I think there is no concern here. I know that trials haven't been done in pregnant women as to the same extent as non-pregnant population. But you look at COVID, it's a horrible disease. It can kill you. It can give you very severe long-term effects. I think on the benefits risk basis, there is no doubt every woman gets a choice and she goes ahead with vaccination, according to me.
Right. Priyali, you wanted to come in?
Yeah, I just want to make a point that the government is saying that, Covishield and Covaxin is not safe for us. So fast track your process of getting Pfizer and Moderna. Resolve those indemnity clauses. Make sure that vaccine is available for at least this small population, which cannot take any other vaccine, according to your opinion. Don't forget us. Don't exclude us.
Right. Priyanka Chaturvedi, that's an important point on the fact that whatever studies have been done, and even the countries that are vaccinating pregnant women right now are using either Pfizer or Moderna. Should we therefore, before we open this up to vaccinating pregnant women, should we also be giving them the option of Pfizer and Moderna, at least to this subset of people?
So firstly, government has not declared it as unsafe vaccines to take, both Covishield and Covaxin. All it is saying is that we do not have enough data to back this and to have that confidence to open it up to pregnant women. So we need to be clear on that. The second part about Pfizer and Moderna, we all know the entire complexity of the entire process. We only gave them the approvals in April. It became a seller's market. Pfizer and Moderna cannot, produce at the level that we are seeking. They are also asking for some indemnity clause, which again has not been sorted out. So those are certain issues. However, like I said, UK guidelines clearly suggest, and they tell a woman that here are the do's, here are the don'ts, here's the positive, here's the negative, and we leave the choice to you and your medical advisor. This is exactly what BMC is suggesting. If you have an approval from your gynecologist has suggested that you get a vaccine, you think through this process, you do a self-attestation of you wanting a vaccine, and then you come to us. So this is the one important choice that will be made by the woman, and it's a decision she will take because it is her body. The entire agency being denied to them and the choice being denied to them is something which I find extremely contrary to the idea of making an inclusive vaccine policy.
Right. Dr. Vikram, do you want to come in here? That choice being made available to pregnant women in the UK also happened only recently.
Well, yes, I think initial vaccination drive started with most of the non-pregnant population.
Yes.
But as the JCVI kept reviewing the data, more studies came in, real-world experience of mothers taking vaccine, delivering babies came in. It became clear that there were no obvious risks from any of these vaccines. So I think that's right. I completely agree that it's time now that every woman is given a choice about the vaccines available at the time, and then she makes a joint decision with her healthcare professional, and she should be allowed to have a vaccine as soon as she's ready to have one. Yeah.
Dr. Gandhi, I want to give you the last word. As someone who heads FOGSI at the moment, do you believe that we also need to focus energies on conducting clinical trials in pregnant women? This was a section of the population that was left out. This will alleviate fears, remove doubts, give more clarity?
I would say, of course, trial study are important and we should conduct it, but it should be at parallel. We should not wait for the result of the trial and study, because otherwise it will take a long time. And in these 3 months or 4 months or 5 months, so many more pregnant women may lose their life. I am more concerned for the pregnant and breastfeeding women. And as a president of FOGSI, would suggest that though we do not have enough data or study across the world, there are enough data, enough study, and we have vaccines which are not live attenuated, and we in past we have given Ebola virus vaccine which is similar type of Covishield, and we have given killed vaccine, we are giving flu vaccine, we are giving many other vaccines. So of course, please go for the trial and study, but at the same time, let pregnant women take the decision, let them empower with the decision.
All right. I think that's the note I'm going to end the show on. Let pregnant women be empowered with a choice to decide whether they want the COVID-19 vaccination or not. We've endeavored to put out the information on this show. We sincerely hope that the authorities are listening. Thank you all very much for joining us on this edition of FYI. That's all the time we have. Slipping into a short break. We'll bring you more news on the other side. Stay with us.